about a beautiful seller from Staten Island. This daughter of his is 3 years old. This is the first time we heard about it, and the only reason he got caught is because he got arrested on a DUI.
Yeah.
And it came out.
As drunk as he was, he said, "Well, I'm here to visit my child," and they said, "What child? What do you mean?" That child.
I guess at the end of the day, the truth comes out.
It does.
I mean, it eventually will. So.
Well, I don't see how you can have any kind of reality relationship without being honest.
Right. Can a man biologically, medically, not cheat?
Well, if you think about it, I mean, of course we have free will. We can choose to do whatever we want. But of course, you know, it's almost like any other addiction of some sort. You know, that brings you a thrill. It's difficult to break, and you're more likely to go back to repeat it. Again, even though you have free choice to kind of choose to do it.
Do you think?
Well, not if they're in therapy with me. I'm a tough cookie.
You are plugging.
You must need some clients.
Your calendar's looking a little empty.
I hold people responsible for their behavior, and
which is good.
Somebody's got to.
Can you cheat-proof your marriage, you think, Nicole?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you can. I think it helps to start by choosing somebody who has a history of honesty and straightforwardness.
Good for you.
I mean, you know, I think that when you marry someone, when you choose somebody, you kind of know the type of person they are. Are they someone who can put other people's needs and feelings before their own, or at least consider somebody else's feelings before they make decisions?
Like if they have a track record.
If they have a track record. I mean, you talk about the first time a man or a woman cheats, but that might be the first time that they cheat, they lie in a sexual way. But what else have they done in their past? How are the little betrayals? How do they treat their family members, their friends? How honest are they in a lot of other areas of life? That can teach you a lot.
All right, we're going to leave it there for now. But when we come back, more to talk about what you should look for if you think your spouse could be cheating. It's coming up next here on Good Day Street Talk. A lot of people are now going to say, well, how do I know what to look for if my husband or my wife is cheating on me or having an affair? Are there signs, red flags that indicate maybe not even so much tangible, but are the points in the marriage where it might happen?
There are always red flags, and I say if your gut is telling you something, listen to your gut. Don't put blinders on you. Listen to what you're believing, and then check out whether or not you have supportive data to support what you think is going on.
A lot of people, supportive data could be hiring a private investigator.
Some people do.
You can get to the point where, and you don't want to be that person who hires someone. Because it's like, why do I have to go behind my wife or my husband's back to find out information?
Yeah, that's
But it's
ugly.
a difficult situation, Dr. Mulally.
And I think just the fact that if you're suspecting that there might be infidelity really questions, is there an issue with the relationship? Just
That's the gut again.
All right, so you trust your gut. Do you approach your spouse about it? Look, I'm having these concerns. I'm having these thoughts. These are some of the red flags I have. Talk to me. Or let's go to therapy together. Right.
Well, again, that could be a great chance to recommit to that relationship. You know, using the kind of those feelings of or suspicions of infidelity, and we re-question: is everything okay? You know, is there something we should be doing? Should we be bringing more romance back into our lives?
It is maybe a lack of passion. I mean, Nicole, we talked about it during a break that so many people, especially many years of being married, they lose it for
maybe not even many years. I mean, it can happen really soon. And I think that what people don't realize is you have to work very hard to keep passion in a relationship. And if you don't take care of the sexual side of your relationship, your marriage will fall apart.
I do believe that, you know, as human beings, if we're not getting something, we're going to get it somewhere else. If your spouse is not being emotional for you, you're going to find it in someone else. If your spouse is not being there for you intimately or physically, you will find it somewhere else. We have needs.
But you also have to ask this question. This is not to blame anybody, because I never point fingers at anybody. But you have to ask the question, am I making myself available enough for my spouse? Am I making this environment safe for my spouse to tell me what's on his mind?
So maybe fixing yourself before you think you have to fix your spouse.
Well, maybe not even fixing, just do some introspection.
Right.
And find out who you are and what kinds of vibes you're giving off. And if you're inviting your spouse to be honest with you.
And you know, in a purely sexual way, I think that you also have to think about your own sexuality and think, what's happening with my sexuality? Am I in touch with it?
Right. Am I willing to grow? I think.
Am I willing to grow and change? What is it that I want? What new or interesting things would I like to do? What would my partner like? You have to have that communication about sex so that your sex life can grow.
Why do people lose it though? I mean,
They're
it's
busy.
like when you're first together,
and
you
kids,
can be
you miss
busy
all that.
and first together, and it's hot and it's passionate and you're in that
But
honeymoon stage and you're almost addicted to
That's why
the
you
romance.
need to spend those Sunday mornings lying around in bed,
And
navel
dating.
gazing. You have to go on dates,
Right.
and
Don't
that's
forget
where the
that
effort
passion.
comes in. Even
And
if you
you
have to
have to make
schedule
effort.
in dates
Yes,
and bedtime.
So we're going to
Maybe.
try?
It's all about trying.
I thought once you say I do, it's all downhill from there.
I think it means I do, I will try.
It shouldn't say
I'll do
I
my
do,
best.
I will try.
With a
I'm
lot
going to give it a
of
shot.
people in marriages, I do immediately converse to I don't. So
Yeah.
then what they look at each other and they say, what happened? But the average amount of time that people's hot passion lasts is 18 months to 3 years.
Wow.
But if you invest in that
Yep.
work
Right.
that,
You can find it,
that
you can
we're
have it
talking
longer.
about, you can have it forever.
Totally. You can recreate the excitement, the thrill. There are lots of ways to do it. You have to do new things together. You have to do exciting things together. You have
Adventure.
to take risks
That's right.
together.
That's
And
right.
maybe
And
get away
that's
from the
what-
kids if
If
at all
you have
possible.
Definitely
children,
get
of
away
course.
from the kids.
Dr. Moyle, let me ask you, if you do in fact find information that your spouse is cheating on you, how do you handle that information? How do you move forward?
Right.
How do you present it?
Well, I mean, it's difficult, and I think that's where really therapy comes in. And again, it's that chance to go back and revisit the relationship and see what it is that went wrong, because definitely something went wrong.
Is
to
it
make that happen.
at the root then of infidelity? It's a breakdown in the marriage in the first place. I guess if you had such a strong, solid foundation of
Breakdown
a
in the
marriage,
communication.
the communication.
Well,
that
I
something would-
advise people to confront. That means not with finger pointing, you did this and you did that, but be honest, be upfront with your feelings. When you did that, I felt this way. And then go from there. In other words, open
But don't you
up
think the problem is then
the
that they
communication.
may think that they did something wrong to bring
Well, excuse me, they were cheating, and
no,
you
no, no,
wonder
no,
if
the
they're doing
spouse,
other
the other person.
The other person.
Well, listen, a relationship is a two-way kind of thing.
Right.
And you want to know how you contributed to making that spouse feel uncomfortable. Not to cheat,
How about
but to make them
besides
feel
your
uncomfortable.
gut that we talk about, your intuition, is there anything else you can look for,
Well, somebody
tangible?
else's hair on the
I guess
automobile
perfumes,
seat.
lipstick, things of that
Just
nature.
something, you know, they don't tell you as many things as they used to. There's a feeling of distance. You know, think
Right,
about the way you
right.
sat together on the couch, the way you lay together in bed, the way
you couldn't take your hands
the way
off
the other
each other.
person looked at you
So
before.
Unfortunately,
And you want
that's-
those things back.
we could talk for days about this. Unfortunately, it's all the time we have. Do appreciate all your expertise on this. Thank you so much. That is it for our program this morning. It was certainly a hot topic, hot and bothered. Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.